Alright, we're going to talk about the installation of the CTS-V 3rd Gen, Camaro 6th Gen, and new ATS-V fuel pump module. And I've got our first module. So it's actually a production module. It looks pre-production, it's just not anodized. I've cut away the pump wires just for clarity, it still goes together the same way. Wanted to go over some of the differences between this and the older one we have for the 5th Gen Camaro and the 2nd Gen CTS. They are not compatible, they don't fit. But anyways, the biggest difference, aside from it just being a deeper tank and it's an offset module like this, is that we actually have 3 lines inside the tank that we have to respect and we have to reconnect. And that's what we want to talk about today. I just want to talk about what they are. So, the first line right here, this is a pressure line actually. It connects to the feed circuit of the pump module and it sends pressurized fuel over to the other side of the fuel tank, and it drives a Venturi jet pump that in turn pushes fuel back over to the pump side, and it connects to this other connector right here, and they're slightly different size so you can't get them backward. This was a larger 3/8 CFI connector, and this connector discharges out of this hole right here. And this hole is relatively high in the fuel tank for a reason. It's for an anti-siphon effect, so when you turn off the fuel pumps, the fuel doesn't transfer back over like when you're parked. So you don't want that to happen. So, and the last connector right here is a relatively large fitting here, and this is a 5/8 CFI, and it is for the tank vent, and it's a little bit more difficult to connect on the ATS and CTS than is Camaro, just because the internals of the tank are a little bit different. But in a nutshell, this whole assembly goes in the tank as you see here. You don't need to split anything or take anything apart, put anything together in sections, and just don't. Put it together in one set shot like this, with a level sender and all. The order in which things need to be connected, and we're going to go out to the fuel tank in a moment and just take a look, and hopefully I'll be able to demonstrate all of these. But this connector gets connected first, and it's a straight connector. And then second is the discharge line from the Venturi jet pump right here. And then lastly is the tank vent line. And if you have a bigger dude and you've got like big hands and big arms, and it might be kind of difficult for you to reach down in the tank once these two are connected. So if you're that type, you might want to get a string or something and attach it to that connector and connect it, so you can pull it up, fish it up out of the bottom of the tank and get it connected, and then you can connect and disconnect that line. It is important that these two lines here are deconflicted. If not, you won't be able to get the module seated inside the tank. It's really tight inside there actually with all these lines and how they connect, and hopefully I'll be able to demonstrate that once we get out to the tank. Okay, I hope you can hear me over the noise. We are in the machine shop, so it's kind of noisy. But this is the tank of a CTS-V, very, very similar to the ATS-V. The Camaro is a little different, but we've sectioned it away so you can take a look down inside here. And if you see what we've got down here, there's the one larger line that's at the bottom is for the tank vent, and then the 2 smaller lines at the top are for the feed and return on the Venturi jet system. And when the pump module goes in place, it's important that the tank vent line, the one on the bottom there, stays below the other 2, or it's going to interfere with that baffling that you see in the back of the tank there. I'm going to try to show you at a different angle so you can get a better look. This is going to be kind of hard to see. And you can see how this baffle system here kind of intrudes over a little bit towards where the pump module is. But I'll show you again this picture once everything's connected, so you can kind of see how everything looks when the pump module's in place and everything falls in. Alright, let me see if I can demonstrate this so it's clear enough. So first of all, we're just going to reach in and grab these 2 lines here. And notice the tank vent's still on the bottom of the tank. I'm going to feed the pump assembly down inside the tank, and again, these would all be connected to wires at the bottom. As you can see up front, real easy, I can connect this first line right to the side. It's pretty simple. And sometimes it's easier at this point to just reach down there and get a hold of this tank vent line. I'm going to see if my hands can reach down there and grab it. And I can barely get my hands on it here. Yep, I got it. Kind of a bear, but see, so I've got both lines out. I don't know if you can see or not, but I got this one here, and I got the tank vent over here as well. I kind of wrestled it. So but I've got to make sure that I keep that tank vent line underneath the small discharge line for the Venturi jet. You can't see it from what I'm doing here, but I wouldn't be able to, but I'll show you everything once everything's connected. So I've connected the tank vent line, and then finally, I'm gonna reach in here, and I don't know if you can see, but I can just get the tank vent line started as well. So everything's down in place. Now the locator here aligns like it would be factory. It's cantilevered a little bit, so it's kind of a little bit of a fight to get it in place. Kind of makes you want to fight it a tad. And it goes like that. And when you're done and everything's connected, you'll be able to orient this the outside of the tank vent line back in the OE location, so that should just connect like stock. So let's take a look at what happened inside now that I got that done. So I don't have the lock ring in place, but the OE helmet style lock ring does work like normal. It clears all the fittings. And let's take a look at, and all those fittings can swivel in position. The tank vent connector, like I said earlier here, it's actually going to maintain, it's in the same OE position, so you shouldn't have any trouble with that at all. But those just orient as appropriate. So let's take a look down inside the tank here. So you see the level center, nice and clear of everything. And you can kind of see how those lines inside there, see if I hope the camera can pick it all up and focus, are all kind of deconflicted. You see the pressure feed line here. Let's see if I can get it in focus for you. Barely. Connects to the side of the module. You can see here the tank vent connected to the bottom. And let's kind of swing around here a little bit. And it's really hard to pick up the discharge line, but you can see these lines here kind of all fit together real close, and they're actually touching the baffle system here. And you see the line for the discharge for the Venturi jet is up there, you know, very, very close to the side of the upper baffling there. So, like I said, if you get that tank vent and that discharge line crossed, you're not going to get this thing seated at all. Anyways, I hope that's helpful.